Hey you guys, today I want to talk about songwriting, and specifically I want to talk about the songwriting session, what a producer needs to do in preparation for a songwriting session, and what the producer's role is during the songwriting session. So here we go. So let's talk about the preparation for a songwriting session. Once I know that I have a certain artist coming in, if it's an artist that's signed to a label, the label will have given me some specific instructions about what they would like. Inevitably, the first thing they want, the thing that they must have, is a hit. We're always shooting for hit songs. But then they'll give me some specifics as to what they would like or what the artist's sound is about. If it's an artist that already has records out there, of course I'll familiarize myself with that. But if it's an artist that I've never worked with, for sure, when they come in the room, no matter what I've sort of prepared for, we're just going to spend half an hour to 45 minutes before we do anything. We're just going to vibe and listen to some music and get some ideas and see where that artist is coming from. Now, once I know who the artist is, and I have some idea of what the sound is going to be based on all that, I will choose who I want to bring in as the top liners. Now, top line writers, if you don't know, that is the melody lyric people. And I definitely want to bring in the right top line writer for the project. I want to make sure that it's somebody that kind of has the right vibe, that works for the sound that we're going for, that the genre that we're working in is something that they specialize in and they can create some kind of magic. So I try to put a team together based on what that artist is about. All right, second of all, one of the things I like to do before a songwriting session to prepare is maybe the day before, I'll sit down. I will at least put one or two ideas down that I really love, that I think would be good going into the session. Now, I prefer to start completely from scratch in a songwriting session. I like the artist to give me some ideas, and we start building and tweaking and bringing something home that it's really theirs. We want them to be part of the song from the beginning. But you know, you get into sessions once in a while and you realize you do need something prepared in advance. So what we're looking at today on the screen is something that I did prepare in advance of a songwriting session. And I probably got in the session and we wrote from scratch, so I didn't need this. But I do love this, and I recently played it for somebody, and I think we're going to write on it very soon. So let me show you what I have here. First of all, what you see, everything is in MIDI. If it's not clear why that's important, you really don't want to get anything committed to audio when you haven't even worked with the artist and you don't know if the key is going to change once the melodies come in and everything. So that's the first thing. Whatever you create going into a recording session, keep it in MIDI so you can shift pitch quickly if you need to. Whatever I was working on at this time, and I don't remember the session, I clearly wanted to do something that was moody, that had a bit of a rhythmic groove, and that had kind of a dark sort of texture to it, but that had harmonic content that I thought they would quickly inspire the top line writers to create some melodies. So let me show you what I had. Let me show you the beat first of all. Now that's probably what I started with, just that. Now, it's really just a kick and snare, right? Except I did bring I just brought some vibe. Also, I brought this in. That's actually a kick. I rolled the low end off, and I just used it as more of a kind of a dirty effect. So I felt like that was something I could work with. Then I turned to one of the synths that I love, Omnisphere, something called backward pulsing. And I didn't change it a lot. I felt it was a little muddy, a little thick. I wanted to thin it out a bit, and one of my favorite plugins to do that with is Combinat. So this is an older version of Combinat, and I rolled off quite a bit of the low end on it, and so it's got a little grit. Then I brought in this plugin Vitamin, and this is a Waves plugin. I pulled in a little mids, it looks like around the 2500. This knob right here actually gives it a little imaging, a little stereo width. with Vitamin. Okay, so this really thins it out. And that's a nice vibe. So it also leaves room for the bass to come in when I bring the bass. So let's see how this feels coming in together with the drums. Bass. My bass is out of Omnisphere, Plectrum sub, just a pretty basic, cool sub. Okay, now bring us some. Okay, now chorus. I bring in 2 extra elements. Okay, so a couple things. Very simple, same progression throughout the whole thing. All I really have is a verse and chorus, and all I really did to sort of signify some change is a couple of rhythmic things I brought in, and for the chorus I brought in another sound, and it looks like I relied heavily on Omnisphere, so this is definitely a commercial for Omnisphere. Oh, I used this very cool Evo pad that I really love. I think I tweak it quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I roll all the lows, all the highs. I think I first kind of came up with the sound in a song that I did with Reed Deming, who I talk about a lot. And I love the way it sits in the chorus. So this is Exhale. Listen to what I did. That's it. That's all I used it for. But listen to how it sits in the chorus. So it just gives it a vibe, just those 2 samples out of Exhale. And I probably didn't do much to that. I probably maybe just, it looks like I EQ'd it a little bit. I just gave it a little push right around 2.7K. So a couple of important things. It's in MIDI, as I said before. I can quickly shift the key in the session if I need to. It's very simple. If there's any elements here that people like, but they don't like, maybe for instance, they like the beat, the vibe, but they want a different progression, we can quickly play something else down. There's nothing here that I would be sorry if I lost because I can easily come up with something else. But it's enough to set a tone, a vibe. Now, I will know if I've succeeded in that pretty quickly because if I play something like this in a writing session and within literally a minute, minute and a half, I have people that are singing melody ideas, playing with something, asking maybe to even throw up a microphone and let them put down a melody, then I know I'm on the right path. I know I've hit something worthwhile. If I'm not seeing that, if I don't see songwriters that are immediately connecting melodically with something within 5 or 10 minutes, forget it. I will toss it and I will start with something else. It doesn't take professional top-line writers very long to connect with a piece of music if it's working for them. So simple. In this case, it's the same progression throughout. All I did with the chorus was I gave it a little energy with an extra synth and a couple of those cool sounds from Exhale and a few extra rhythmic elements. All that I have here is a verse and chorus. And this kind of thing wouldn't take more than a few minutes to build while people are over on the couch talking. So once they're kind of creating something for the verse and the chorus, I can start getting over here on the side. I may even be looping this for them, but I'll be getting ready to create some kind of bridge. So I won't necessarily be involved with the songwriting part. I will be building on to the next part of the song. Or if I haven't built the chorus up yet, while they're vibing on the verse and while they're coming up with some melodic ideas, I'll start throwing down some rhythmic elements or a couple of extra keyboard parts. And so the producer's job, partly in the session, is to keep the music flowing for the writers to write to, but also to be building at the same time. If you don't have a completely finished track, you have to move quickly. But if you do, do and you keep the session flowing, it's a fun time. And remember, in most writing sessions, at least out here in LA, you are writing the song from scratch, you are coming up with all the parts, you're putting the artist in front of the microphone, you're tracking all the vocals. It's a session that can go on from anywhere from 4 to 7 hours, depending on how long it takes to write the song and how experienced the artist is. You want that 4 to 7 hours to flow smoothly, to work efficiently. You want to be a bit transparent behind the scenes when you're creating stuff. And all of those things help for the top line writers and the artist to just think in terms of what are they writing lyrically, what are they doing melodically. Now, once I have enough song built that I feel like I've got enough here, I see where it's going, I've got enough that we could start tracking vocals as soon as everybody's ready, I will put on the songwriter hat. I'll pull up the lyrics. Usually when we write on a Google Drive doc. So everybody has a computer and everybody has the same document up. We're all adding to the same document at the same time. So I'll pull it up. I'll start looking at what they have. I'll make comments about a couple things if I like them or I don't like them. I'm always very hardcore about the hook. It has to be great. The producer must be focused on making sure that the bar is high, that the hook is just fantastic. And if you don't see something lyrically or melodically with the hook that you love, you have to, in a tactful, diplomatic, and loving way, tell people that it sucks and we must look for something better. That's just another role that has to be played by the producer in a writing session. So anyway, there's probably a lot more that could be said about songwriting, but if the things that I've talked about here, if you can keep them in mind, you'll find yourself in high demand. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you learned something from it, felt like you got something, please like and subscribe and comment below. Let me know what you thought about this piece of music. Tell me if you think I need to trash it or if I need to do something with it. And until next time,